One video I've been meaning to do for a while is just touching on the importance of using a filter if you're going to look at the size of the sun. For example, comparing the size at midday to how it appears at sunrise or sunset. You'll see the sun has a lot of what we call sun flare. Now, the reason we use a filter is to cut through that sun flare, and we can then see the true size of the disk of the sun. Now, these are just welding filters which you can get from a hardware store. There's a strength 13, and in the later part of my video I use a strength 11. I don't recommend looking at the sun with your eyes through these filters. Obviously you need to take precautions there, but certainly holding them in front of a camera lens will reduce that sun flare, so you will get a more accurate indication of the true size of the sun, which you'll see is quite a lot smaller than would be indicated by the appearance of this sun flare. So I've received a couple of comments on my channel recently from people who have also linked to videos such as this one, which shows the sun apparently getting smaller as it moves closer to the horizon when it's setting. And I'll just play a short part of this video. You can see that the sun does indeed appear to get smaller as it moves closer to the horizon. And I'm not singling out this particular video. There are actually plenty of them on YouTube. There you can see it looks like the sun is getting smaller. Now, I certainly don't disagree with that. Now, if we look at perspective, I absolutely agree that as the sun moves further away, it should be getting smaller. I've got two balls here that are basically identical size, and if we move one further away, absolutely, it's going to look smaller. So no argument from me about that. If we have a flat Earth and the sun is moving further away from us, then yes, I agree it's going to get smaller. However, what we're seeing in these videos is not the true size of the sun, it's the sun flare. And as the sun gets closer to the horizon, the sun flare reduces because the line of sight from your eye to the sun is now looking through more atmosphere than when it was higher in the sky. Remember back to my other video where I showed you how to use just a normal welding style filter to cut through the sun flare and see the true size of the sun. You'll see when you eliminate that sun flare, the actual size of the sun is much smaller. So if we were looking at these videos and using a solar filter that eliminates the sun flare altogether, we would see that the true size of the sun does not change from sunrise in the morning through midday and sunset. So I decided it was time to do my own experiments properly using the P-900 and with a correct solar filter so that we can eliminate the sun flare and get an accurate indication of the size of the sun. Now there's my P-900, and it takes a 67mm filter on the front. I did a bit of shopping around. I couldn't find a dedicated solar filter specifically for the camera. They are available, but they're quite difficult to obtain here in Australia. So what I did was just basically assemble one using an Orion solar filter from a telescope and just a rubber hood with a 67mm mount, and that just screws straight on the front of the P-900 and it fits perfectly inside that solar filter. So I was able to create a very effective and useful solar filter for the P-900. Now the other thing I did was just try a slightly different one. This is just using beta solar film, and again just a rubber hood, and this produces a similar result. It just gives a slightly different color on the sun. This is just a solar film, and this one's actually using solar glass, which gives a more yellowish color, which you'll see shortly. But with the P-900, just to keep the zoom level consistent, I used maximum optical zoom and I had digital zoom turned off, and I'll just show you that now. So there's the settings menu, and as you can see I've got digital zoom turned off, and that way I was able to use maximum optical zoom for all my measurements so that I knew the zoom level would be consistent without getting into the digital zoom effect. And this is the P-900 with the solar filter attached. You can see it's quite solid. It's not going to come off in wind, or if you're moving it around. It's a good solid filter, and it works very effectively. So what I'll do now is just show you some of the results that I obtained today, and you can see that the morning shot was actually taken with this filter, and the midday and the afternoon shots were taken with this filter. Now I'm going to do a lot more detailed videos on this, so just have a look at these photos just as an introduction, just showing you how easy it is to obtain accurate readings yourself. It's not hard to get a solar filter for your camera and do these readings yourself. I'm no expert in photography, not by a long shot, but I was able to do this today and basically debunk all these videos that claim the sun is shrinking, because it's absolutely not. It was exactly the same size, morning, midday and afternoon. And there's the three photos. You'll see the timestamp, 9:30 this morning. That was using the film filter. You'll see the sun's got a white color, and the dimensions there, it was 1210 by 1210 pixels when I measured it on the screen. And remember, the zoom level for each of these photographs was exactly the same. So there's the morning shot. This was at midday. So it was taken at 12:03. Same dimensions exactly. And then again in the afternoon at 16:24, same dimensions exactly. Now you can see the colors slightly different, and part of that is due to the fact that this was the first day I've been experimenting with these filters, and I was just playing with different shutter speeds and settings. But the important thing here is that by using a proper solar filter on the camera, we are getting the true size of the sun. We're not being misled by the sun flare, which does appear to be increasing and decreasing as the sun gets closer to the horizon. We're seeing the true size of the sun, and it just doesn't change throughout the day. So what I recommend you do is, again, don't take my word for it. This is a really easy experiment. Anyone can do this themselves. If you own a camera, all you need to do is just go and find one of these solar filters, put it on your camera, and make this observation yourself, and you'll see that the true size of the sun does not change.